Hello and welcome to Stitched from My Stash, episode 48. My name is Julie and I'm coming to you from just north of Glasgow in the UK. And my vlog is about sewing, knitting, patchwork and quilting, and sometimes crochet. And my aim is to use as much of my stash as possible, rather than buying lots of extra fabric and yarn, which does limit what I make. And I'm not going to say I'm never going to buy fabric or yarn, because if I fancy something I will buy it, but at the moment no, I just want to use what I've got. It's just I just want to thin things out. And anyway, so you're very welcome. Thank you for joining me and commenting and engaging. Sorry I didn't do a vlog last week. I had a last minute trip organised down to South Wales to see my pals in South Wales, and it was fab. I went on the train and lots of food and drink was partaken, and it was lovely to have a catch up. So there was no vlog last week, but I'm back here this week. So I have my list here, otherwise I will go off piste. And first of all, I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing. And I did introduce this, I don't know, the last vlog, and it's a free download pattern from Melly Sews. I will put the info at the bottom, and I think you have to sign up to her newsletter or something, and then you get access to all her online patterns. And I printed it off. We do have printer ink at the moment, and it ends up, I've never downloaded a pattern before, but it ends up on A4 pieces, and it's like not quite like a jigsaw, but you have a code and you join A to A, F to F, etc., and you end up with these pattern pieces, which are great. I like this cardie, so I'm going to put a little video up of me modelling outside. It's dry at the moment, and I was thinking as I was sort of putting it on this morning, it's funny, and I bet lots of you are the same. When you make something, you're not quite sure if that's going to be one of your go-tos, but I feel this will be. I am going to obviously talk about it. So it's a I suppose it's, yeah, this is a stretch fabric, and again I'll add a photograph. This was a large tunic that I bought in a charity shop 4 years ago, and it's been malingering in a cupboard, and I wanted to refashion it, and this is what I chose. So it's a drop shoulder. A couple of things I would change. The sleeves are too long for me. I didn't think of that when I was making it. The sleeves are too long, but I can I've used a cuff. Oh, my overlook thread is still hanging. I used a cuffing fabric, which I had, rather than the main fabric. And I think I've cut the cuffing a bit shorter than on the pattern because I didn't have enough or whatever. And I also used cuffing on the waistband. So you're supposed to do the waistband using that, but I used the cuffing. So the other thing I would change is on the inside, when you do this button band, this edge is kept as a raw edge. Now, I'm not one for detail, so I didn't read ahead on the pattern. In future, when I make one, I would overlock that edge so you have a neater finish. Because what you do is you edge stitch, I'm not sure what it's called, down there all the way round to secure that inner band. So I would overlock that edge. I have an overlocker, so I would overlock that edge so it's a bit neater on the inside. The other thing I would change, this is per the download, it's a small. Now, I think she's called Melly, who's given the pattern for free. She says that's the size. It's, you know, she's not going to do all different sizes. Of course, fair enough. But she does give instructions for changing the sizing. So I didn't want to change the size, first of all. I'm quite narrow shouldered, so I thought, right, I'll try the small. And it's just about okay in this fabric. So if I make another, and I am going to make another, I'll talk about that a bit later, I want to change the size of the body, but not the shoulders, because I think the shoulders look fine. And I think the sleeves are okay, because I've got a long sleeve, just a ready-to-wear Marks and Spencer top underneath. So I would keep the sleeves, keep the shoulders, and just increase the body a little bit more, so it's a bit more boxy, and possibly reduce the body length. Now, I'll talk about what I'm going to make next a bit later on, but this is I've got 2 finished items, and this is one of them. The buttons came from my stash. I had a load of buttons off Free Cycle perhaps last year, and there were a lot of greys and browns and navies, so I knew I'd have the nice size buttons. The buttonholes, I did one practice one using this fabric on my sewing machine, and it was fine. When I came to do them on the top, my sewing machine wasn't playing ball, so to speak. So what I ended up doing, I did some practice runs, sort of creating my own buttonhole. I was going to do them by hand, and I thought that would be interesting to learn. But I ended up, and it's difficult to show here, I did a rectangle around the buttonhole, and then I used on my machine, I think it was called triple stitch, really close to the hole, and I made the hole with this tool, which I must find the cover for and put that away, because that is ever so sharp. And then, you know, on my self-healing mat to make the hole. And what other tool did I use? Oh, I'm not going to find it now. My table is full of stuff. So I used a buttonhole measurer to measure where to put the buttons. So I created my own buttons. The pattern does ask for some interfacing on this part of the front. So of course I rushed that bit and I didn't put the interfacing on. But I don't think that would have made much difference on my machine. It isn't great on buttonholes. So anyway, I'm pleased with the buttons. They're not bulky and they work effectively. What else would I need to say? I think that's it. So I'm really pleased with it, and it may be, once I shorten the sleeves, be one of those go-tos that, as I said, sometimes we don't know till we've made something and sort of had it hanging around for a week or so. The turtleneck I made a couple of weeks ago, I've worn that loads, and I didn't know that would be a go-to. So this may be, and it is a bit milder up here today, this is quite a thin fabric, but I think that's effective. In fact, I may take it off if I get too warm. So that's my one finished item. Two finished items, that's one of them. I will add some photos of the pattern, the download, and definitely put the source of the pattern. So first finished item. Excuse me, I am going to have a cup of tea. Cheers. My other finished item is a scarf, which I made on a course, a weaving course, down in Dumfries and Galloway at a place called Shamblie House with Jan Beadle. And she's based, I think, in Carlisle. And she's a fantastic weaver and a brilliant teacher. So this course was entitled Make a Tartan Scarf in a Day. And it was on a 4-shaft looms, if you know anything about weaving. I don't know much, I'm a beginner. So it was on a 4-shaft loom, which she had already dressed. She'd put the warp on, which is the one that goes vertically, so along the fabric. She'd already put the warp on with particular colours. I was late. It was a terrible weather, and I had to drive from here, and it's a good 2 hours for 10 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't race down the motorway because there was so much water on the road. So I was a bit late. What I'm driving at is, I'm not sure if everybody chose their looms based on the colours. She'd set up, I think there was 8 of us there. So she'd set up different looms with different colours. So I was the last in. So as I said, I don't know if people chose. These wouldn't have been my colours. Having said that, that might be a good thing, because, you know, it's a bit out of my area. Grey I like, hence grey. Is that maroon, burgundy? Anyway, that wouldn't necessarily be my colour, and possibly not orange. But like I said, I'm pleased the colours were chosen for me, because I wouldn't have chosen those colours. So you're there 8 till 4, and you have a lovely, I don't know, soup and bread and cake lunch and tea, which was very nice in this wonderful old building. And in the morning, as I said, I'm a learner weaver. In the morning, she's showing you how to weave, and, you know, you're making your mistakes, etc. And then come the afternoon after lunch, you're just weaving. And I was so pleased that I managed to complete the length of scarf that she expected you to complete. Just got my head down, and you have to change your, hang on now, shuttle for the different colours to make the tartan. And this is a twill pattern. So the pattern is the same, just the yarn colour changes. So I do have, I might show it at some point, a black and like a black and white checky, it's not check, I can't describe it, coat that I made a while ago. And I think it'll go with that. So I am really pleased with this. So just towards the end of the afternoon, she cuts it off the loom for you. So it's very much you were just doing the shuttle. And then you tie knots for the fringing there, or you could do a barley twist. I didn't want to do the barley twist. So you cut knots for the fringing, and she then tells you, you know, you go away, you take it home, and you wash the scarf in a little bit of washing up liquid, because she says there's some oil in it, not from the sheep, it's pure wool, not from the sheep's wool, but perhaps from a dressing that they put on it to go through the process of making the yarn. And I used, I don't know, a Persil wool wash. So you wash it. I did then put it in a spin cycle in the front loading machine, and it came out fine. And it was a little bit blowy on the day I washed it, so I hung it on the line for a bit. But the next interesting thing is, she says use a really hot steam iron to press it. And I was like, but that's what I did. And it was fine, and it doesn't burn, but it does, oh, I've caught on my earring. It does sort of settle the weaving. So that's my second finished item. And I'm really pleased. It's not perfect. There is one glaring mistake, which my partner saw straight away because he's cleverer than me, is, I won't find it now. At some point, I forgot, there, look. I forgot to use the black between the red sections. As I said, you change your shuttle colours every so often. So that's a glaring mistake. And the edges aren't perfect, again, because I'm a beginner. But it comes out, it's really nice and soft. And I do have grey things. So I think that's fab, if I say so myself. So I would definitely recommend a course. There was a couple of women there who hadn't done any weaving, and I think they did find it a bit difficult, but they had a good laugh. I've done a little bit of weaving. I have a loom, which is lurking there, but I've been too busy to go back and set it up myself. And I've been on a few courses. So I felt I sort of knew what I was doing. But she's so helpful, Jan. So I would say, if you're prepared to persevere, you know, when you're a total beginner, I think the course was £80 and £5 for the materials, which I thought was great. It was such a good day. And there was somebody who was a knitter, but she'd never woven before, and she finished even before me, and she made a beautiful scarf. So my second finished item, is there anything? No, that's everything. So a couple of now works in progress, one of which, I don't know if I've messed up. It's the Lunar Lapin, which I started a couple of weeks ago. And I started this before I bought the new felt from the shop in Kendal. So this is just felt that I had here already. And I think the head is perhaps stuffed too full. I'm not sure. And perhaps the body isn't stuffed enough. The legs are stuffed quite hard. So, and again, I didn't read the pattern. I machine sewed this, but it should have been hand stitched. I thought I was doing a good cheat, and I wasn't. So anybody who's done Lunar Lapin, and you can give me some advice, please. I think, should the legs be as firm as that? Should the head be as firm? I think it might be better if this felt, the white, was the same as the brown. That might help. So I'm considering keeping this one as a trial and perhaps doing the next one in all the same felt that I bought at the shop Cool Crafting in Kendal, and perhaps taking a bit more care. So I am a bit disappointed. The head I find quite tricky to sew on, but again, I could take more time, and perhaps it's difficult to explain now, but doing a little under hem before you attach it. And obviously the the arms aren't done. I have started sewing them. So she's still, or he if it's going to be Alfie, I'm still pondering. So I may start again, but save this one as, is it a toile? I say toile. Is it a toile? A practice run, and make another. So if you've got time to just say any advice, perhaps the legs are too stuffed, because it does say on the pattern, stuff quite firmly. Perhaps I've stuffed them too much. Anyway, I think I was a bit impatient. So that's Luna Lapin. She's on hold for a bit. My other work in progress, there's a couple of other works in progress, but I'm concentrating on 2 today, is the colour work cardigan. No, it's a top, which I hadn't started, I don't think, last vlog. So this is a free download. There isn't a full picture, but I'll add a picture here. This is a free download of a yoke cardigan, knit in the round, and I think it's free off Ravelry. So I used yarn that I dyed. I had this cream yarn, which really doesn't look nice on me, and I made this Felix cardigan, which I don't like. I'm going to undo this, and I thought, right, let's try Dylon, and I used a navy dye, which came out blue, which is fine. It's a nice colour blue, but it is navy. So these Dylons are the ones where you put in, obviously you can't do it in the machine, because the machine you have to set a front loader really high. So this is a stir in one with hand hot water, and you keep stirring for about an hour. So that was navy. Now this was red. So it isn't red, but it's nice, it's fine. So this was the red dye. It's called Tulip Red, but obviously it isn't red, but it's a nice pink. And I mentioned before, when I was dyeing it in the cauldrony thing, I wound this a bit differently. I wound it in a figure of 8, so it was easier to detangle at the end. So let's show it's going to be short sleeve top. So this is what I've done so far. I'm really pleased with it. So I've got the blue using the navy dye. This is Aran weight wool, and the pink using the red dye, and then the cream, which is the original colour. So it's a fairly straightforward pattern. I don't do loads of colour work, but I quite like it, and I can knit continental generally. So I can use both hands, and it's only 2 strands at this on each row. So I thought that's quite doable. And what else to say? So I'm going to add little sleeves, not too long, but I'm going to add little sleeves. And I am now playing yarn chicken, as they say, because I've done this much, and I have, let's see, I have, that's a little bit, no, I have some yarn. Oh, I'm not going to, oh, here they are. I have that for the short sleeves, that. I have this to finish going around, and then I have these 2 balls of blue to go around the bottom. So not sure how far I'm going to go with those. I did do some calculations this morning. I think it's about 33 centimeters from the underarm, and then 5 rounds. It should be moss stitch, but I'm doing rib. So I may put, I don't think I want to put pink as a rib. I would prefer it all blue, but I might put the cream as the rib band in the bottom. See, so I'm playing with the amount of yarn I've got, really. I've seen some people on, it's quite a popular pattern on Ravelry, so I've seen some people add a couple of rows of colour work, which would increase the blue yarn, wouldn't it, if I use some more pink and cream to make a band of colour work. But I'm going to see how I get on with what I have left before I decide how I'm going to do the rib. Obviously, I'll need to decide before I come to the 5 rounds of rib. But I've tried it on. I did have, I think I put a thread all the way round and then a thread through the arms. And I think it fits across the shoulders. I haven't tried it on since I've done the length. But I think that's a good use of a colour I didn't like. And I don't know, what are these dyes? £3-4, and it's a bit of fun, and it's using what I have. I will put some photos of the dyeing. Did I do it in the sink or in the no, I did have a big tub of the dyeing. Not sure how it will fare when I will have to block it. When I'm blocking, hope there's no bleeding, but I suppose I could do a little sample first. So that's nice and thick for the colder days, with probably a t-shirt underneath. I think it would be possibly too itchy. Anyway, we'll see. So that's another work in progress, which I've enjoyed. I did quite a lot on the train, which was good. And on the way back, it was on a Avanti West Coast Virgin train. And the train, I don't know, it was loads of carriages from, where did I change? Crewe. And as I went up to the little cafeteria to get a drink, there was a young woman knitting, and I said, oh, I'm knitting too. And she was knitting something that she was making up. She said she had this really fine yarn and she couldn't find a pattern. So she must be really clever. So that was quite exciting on the train, and you chat to people. It was nice. It was fine. And work in progress. May be done by next week. We'll see. So, plans. I have plans to make another one of these, which I'm going to have to sort out because I want it a bit wider. And have I put the pattern? Here's my plans. I want to make one of these and these trousers. Now, I've had this pattern 4 or 5 years when I started making sweat tops. I've not even cut this pattern out. So the time has come to give it a go. I did sort out my patterns a couple of months ago, and luckily I didn't get rid of this one. But I'm going to try the trousers. Now, these trousers are 1 inch below the waist. I don't like that. I like a higher waist. So for a start, I'm going to have to, I haven't looked at the pattern yet, but often they have lengthen or shorten here, don't they? And it's, I'm assuming, elasticated waist. So that might be in my favour. But I'm such a impatient sewer, impatient generally, I should think, that it's putting me off, starting, because I think I've got to get this right. So I thought that'd be a nice little suit with a white or striped t-shirt underneath. So that's my plan. Now the fabric I have is perched on the table beside me, so I'm going to move my tea, excuse me, because there's a big pile. Now this is sweatshirt fabric that I bought, of course, at Abercarn in Rhyl in North Wales. So here we go. Grey. Some of these are bits. Blue. Dark blue. This is what I'm probably going to use, navy, because there's, I did measure it. I think it's about 60 odd wide. I'm looking because the piece of paper's on my little settee. I think it's about 6.5 wide. It's 60 odd inches wide and 2.5 yards or something, or nearly 3 yards. So it hasn't got loads of stretch, and it is a navy. But I thought that would be nice for the trousers and the jacket. So it's like a little suit with a lightish t-shirt underneath. So it's probably going to be that one, because that's what I have the most of. Charcoal, not much there. Some more blue. Black. Grey. And there might be enough of that for another. It's a thicker sweat top fabric, but would I want to in grey? Anyway, we'll see. So that's my plan for the week, is to use some of this, probably the navy, and I have navy buttons for the jacket, and make a little suit. Now, I know it's supposed to be like a lounge suit, but I wouldn't wear it as a lounge suit. I'd wear it going out. Not that I go out often, but, out and about. Because I don't have any more trouser fabric. And as I said, I'm not in the mood to buy fabric. So this would be a good compromise. So I'd have a new pair of trousers, but I don't have to go and buy fabric. So the trouser is a straight, so it'd be a bit longer, and I think that's quite the style now. But I don't want to waste the fabric, so I do have some more of this in sort of yellows and colours that I wouldn't wear. So I'm toying, do I make a toile out of the sweatshirt fabric? Do I make a toile out of the fabric that, I don't know, old curtain lining or something? But then that's not the same fabric. Anyway, that's my dilemma, is to get the detail right, because I don't want to waste this nice navy fabric. So that's my plan. And we've got a little granddaughter coming later on today for tomorrow. So that today and tomorrow is out. We have been sorting out the garage, which is a mess, but we've done loads. Andrew's done some dump runs, and general cleaning hasn't been done. So I should get a grip and do some cleaning as well. And I've been away on a jolly. So that's my plan, is I've got this image in my mind of this little suit. Whether or not it'll come out like that, we'll see. But it'll be a nice pair of trousers anyway. Well, they will be lounge trousers then. So I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for keeping me company. I do enjoy doing the vlogs, and it does get me motivated to make things and think about what I've got. I think that's it. I'll just leave you with my nice little scarf, and see you next time. Hope you all have a good crafting week, and let me know what you're up to. and where you are in the world and things you're making, things you're doing. Bye for now. Bye.